guys, we are working on this client today. This is how she fills them in. So we're gonna map her kind of in a similar shape, a little bit more soft, a little bit more rounded, and we're just gonna microblade her with a nano blade, really natural. Okay, and here is this client with nothing on her brows. She does have some hair, it's just really, really blondie, so this is just gonna be such a game changer. First, we're going to be mapping her. So she's not, she's not quite an alopecia client, obviously, but her brow hair is so light that it almost appears that way. So I figure it'll be really good to be able to clearly show you how to map to her bone structure. The one thing I will say is that how she normally fills them in is a little bit more rounded shape, and so I am going to keep her arches really nice and soft, and keep the centers soft. So that's what we're going for today. So first thing I'm going to do is just put this right here at the divots of her nose and mark her centers. Just like that. And then I'm just going to double check from the corner of her eye and see. So this is about maybe 3 millimeters away here. I'll look on this side. Very similar. This might be like 2.5. But very, very similar. So I am happy with that. So that's it for the centers. And then I'm going to flip this downwards, go right to the tip of her nose, make sure this is nice and centered, clamp it down to the corner of her eye, and then this just angles outward and will show us where our tails need to end. So I'll just make that mark on both sides. There we go. And same thing, flip this down, and then I'm going to have this go to the edge of the lashes here, keep clamping down till it's the edge of lashes here, and then press. And I'm going to draw a straight line all the way through. Perfect. And if you feel with your finger right where that brow bone is ending and kind of starts to curve in, so even if you just put your finger over till it touches the nose, then push up, that's where you want your brow to start. So you can actually, if you're really not following hair at all, and if you're really trying to follow the brow bone, that's what you want to do. So then I'm just going to take that mark and carry it over to the other side, just like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and, just because I know how thick she wants her brows, and that's how I'm going to determine how high up this is going to go. If she wanted a really, really thick brow, the main thing is that basically if you push down with this, where it starts to taper off, which is like right in here, that's the thickest you could go to. Obviously that would look ridiculous, it'd be too thick, but if their brow bone really starts to taper off and it's going to go rounded, if you press and see, like for example right here, if you press, it starts to taper off right here. So just make sure that you're not building too far above the brow bone. It's when it starts to curve, or it's going to make your brow look super weird, which again doesn't apply to her, but just a little side note there. So, okay, so again, we want her brows to be about this thick, so that's what we're gonna draw here. Okay. And then I'm gonna flip this down. And then I'm going to open this, clamp it down, and then scooch, scooch, scooch until we catch her brow bone. And you can see how it just perfectly catches that brow bone. This brow bone on this side's a little bit more pronounced than this one, on this side than this side. Okay, there we go. So that's where it's gonna be at, but I'm gonna tilt just slightly so that it's straight. And then we're gonna mark those arches on each side. Then I'm going to twist just like this little twisty motion until, bam, I hit where the brow bone ends. And just following that line of the brow bone, I'm gonna mark on both sides. So we got those two measurements. So the very last thing we have to do is, so this goes from thicker to thinner. So I'm gonna move this until it's as thick as, there we go. So it's like right here. This is the same thickness as the brow, right? So I'm gonna mark it right here. And then if you move just about this far down, I mean, it's approximate. It can be kind of anywhere in here, but about this far down, I find, just to make sure that it is slightly thinner at your arch, but B, it kind of helps you graduate that. So this is gonna be the thickness I'm gonna do in this area. You never want here to here to be thicker than the beginning of your brow. Okay, so anyways, so I'm gonna go like this and just make sure that this top line goes right to there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make my mark right here. I'm gonna use the same measurement over here. There we go. And then the last thing we have to do is just connect all our dots. I'm noticing this center line is just like not 100% straight, so I'm just gonna go like this. But also I want to have these be a little bit rounded, so I'm gonna go ahead and round out this line just like that. I'm gonna do the same thing to this side. There we go. Okay, and again, last step, we're just gonna fill this out. So I'm gonna do finger here, stretch. And I'm just gonna connect the 2 points from here to here. And you can see it's just really soft. Just a really soft kind of curvy line. And then from here to here, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Here to here. Here to here. I'm just looking really quick, checking for symmetry before I set her up. I'm thinking I'm going to just right here, make sure that this arch pops enough, just kind of cleaning up that line, and then I'm gonna look at it again. I think this is going to be a good starting point to sit her up and check out, so I'll go ahead and do that. And you do always have to check it set up, because every once in a while people's muscles will pull it a weird direction. It'll like make one eyebrow raise more or not. It's just so crazy, but muscles definitely change brow shape. So, okay. Okay, be right back. The only other little trick I want to show you guys, so if you want to use this as a measuring device, so for example, you can measure from here to here, and then go over here and just make sure that it's similar. And what I'm seeing is that although this is a good equal spot on this arch, so I'll show you. So like for example here, if you carry this down, it goes right to the corner of her eye. And here, if you carry it down, it's really, really close to the corner of her eye. But basically the difference is her brow bone right here depresses just a little bit quicker than on this side. So that's where mapping to the brow bone, sometimes it'll shift just ever so slightly if your brow bones are a little bit different shape. So I'm really going to pay attention to that when she sits up, to see if I need to move this just slightly further in, or to make that look a little more balanced, I might take this just like one more hair inward. But we're going to sit up, we're going to talk about the options, and then always you have to talk to your client too about looking even and being even, because those are two different things, because we're mapping. It's like drawing on a flat sheet of paper compared to drawing on a ball. If certain areas are rounded, then the way that your eye perceives them, you see the curvature changes the shape. So that's always important, to just look at them as well and use artistic opinion, and you know, just be smart about it. So all right, I'll sit her up and I'll let you know what we decide and if we're gonna adjust it. Thanks, guys. Her brow bones are just ever so slightly different shapes. Basically, this brow bone is a little bit smoother, and this brow bone has this really nice bouncy curve right in here, and then it kind of cuts inward. Like this one's kind of like this, and this one's like this. So because of that, her apex and the height of her arch needs to be here. Like this is a must-have, because it just looks so good with her facial shape. So because of that, I don't want to adjust the arch. Those arches are where they should be at. So but to create a little more symmetry with her brows, again, so this right now is measuring from here to here, and this one is from here to here. So what I'm going to do, so this one is measuring from here to here, so it's about, that's not drawing right now. There we go. So it's about this much of a difference. So what I'm going to do is not take this full amount off of this brow, but I am going to just ever so slightly take this in just about this much. And that should do the trick. And you know what's so funny, and this is just for pictures, but just so that I have two lines that are equal, I don't know why, but whenever I add a line like this, I put another line over here, so when I take her before and after pictures and her outline pictures, there's not just one random line. So, but anyways, I promise, because her brow bone is just like a tiny bit shifted, this is going to make these brows have a more similar shape. So it's going to be amazing. Can't wait to show you. I'll go ahead and do a quick scan of her mapping so you can see it just a little bit more up close and from different angles. And then I'll do a scan of her finished microblading. Okay guys, here's our finished mapping. Hey guys, here are her finished brows.
And it's like we're that far and they live right there, and so we rode to their house a couple times, and Will is just learning how to ride. Yeah, and so
Couldn't be happier. They look so natural.
but like the first day we rode to their house, and then I think the second day we rode out there, and then they rode back or something.
Yay.
But Vanessa and Dwayne were messing around with Vanessa's